Let me ask you something that could literally be worth thousands of dollars to you right now. Do you know exactly when your next Social Security payment is hitting your bank account? Do you know how much it should be? And more importantly, do you know whether you are actually receiving the full amount that you are legally entitled to? Because right now, in the middle of March, millions of Americans are waiting for their Social Security checks, and a significant number of them have no idea that the rules for when they get paid, how much they get paid, and who qualifies for the highest amounts have all changed. Here is what is happening right now. The Social Security Administration is sending out payments right now in March, and for the first time, the average benefit check for a retired worker has climbed to $2,071 per month, the result of the 2.8% cost of living adjustment that kicked in for 2026. But here's the thing that most people watching this video don't know. Not everyone gets their March check on the same day. In fact, your exact payment date is determined by something as specific as the day of the month you were born. And if you don't know your payment date, you could be sitting around confused, wondering if your money got lost, when in reality, it simply hasn't been sent yet. And here's the big question I want you to be thinking about throughout this entire video. Are you getting the amount you actually deserve? Because between the COLA increase, the new rules about benefit qualifications, and some very common mistakes seniors make on their Social Security accounts, there is a very real chance that some of you watching right now are leaving money on the table, money that belongs to you. So stay with me. By the time this video is over, you're going to know exactly when to expect your March payment, how much you should be receiving, whether you qualify for more than you're currently getting, and what steps to take right now to make sure not one single dollar of your benefit falls through the cracks. Before we get into all of that, if you are watching this channel for the first time, welcome. We cover Social Security, Medicare, and retirement income topics every single week with the goal of making sure that seniors and retirees have the clear, real, actionable information they deserve. Please take a second right now and hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss a video like this one. And if you know someone, a parent, a sibling, a neighbor who collects Social Security and could benefit from this information, please share this video with them right now. It costs you nothing and could genuinely help them protect their income. All right, let's get into the details. Let's start with the most immediate and practical question. When exactly is your March Social Security check arriving? Because this is one of the most common points of confusion for retirees, especially new recipients who don't yet understand how the SSA's payment schedule actually works. Here is the fundamental thing you need to understand. Social Security does not send everyone their payment on the same day. Instead, the SSA divides beneficiaries into groups based on their birthday, specifically the day of the month they were born, and staggers payments across the month. This system was designed to manage the sheer volume of payments going out each month. Think about it. Over 70 million Americans receive Social Security benefits. If the SSA tried to pay everyone on the same day, the banking system would be overwhelmed. So instead, they spread it out across several key dates each month, always on Wednesdays for most recipients. Now here is where March gets interesting, because the payment dates for March 2026 follow the standard SSA Wednesday payment schedule. The very first group to receive their March payment is a special category. These are people who began receiving Social Security benefits before May 1997, and also people who receive both regular Social Security and supplemental security income. If you fall into that group, your payment arrived on March 3rd. That's the first check of the month, and it always comes on the 3rd of the month regardless of what day that falls on. For everyone else, the majority of beneficiaries, your payment date depends entirely on your birthday. And this is where people get confused, so let me spell this out as clearly as possible. If your birthday falls on the 1st through the 10th of any month, your Social Security payment arrives on the second Wednesday of each month. In March 2026, that second Wednesday is March 11th. So if your birthday is, say, March 5th or July 9th or February 2nd, it doesn't matter what month you were born in, only what day of the month. You received or will receive your March payment on March 11th. Now, if your birthday falls on the 11th through the 20th of any month, your payment arrives on the third Wednesday of the month. In March 2026, that third Wednesday is March 18th. So if your birthday falls anywhere in that middle range, the 11th, the 14th, the 17th, the 19th, you are in the group getting paid on March 18th. This is the largest group of recipients, and March 18th is the date that the majority of Social Security checks go out each month. And finally, if your birthday falls on the 21st through the 31st of any month, your payment arrives on the fourth Wednesday of the month. In March 2026, that date is March 25th. So if your birthday is the 22nd, the 28th, the 31st, your March check arrives on the 25th. So to summarize the March 2026 payment schedule, March 3rd for pre-1997 recipients and SSI Social Security combination recipients, March 11th for birthdays on the 1st through 10th, March 18th for birthdays on the 11th through 20th, and March 25th for birthdays on the 21st through 31st. Does this schedule make sense to you now? Do you know which group you fall into? If you weren't sure before, now you are. And here's a practical piece of advice. Mark these dates on your calendar every single month. Write them down. Set a reminder on your phone. Because if your expected payment date passes and the money isn't in your account, you now know it's worth investigating. One more important note, the SSA recommends waiting at least 3 business days after your scheduled payment date before calling to report a missing payment. Direct deposit is almost always on time, but paper checks can occasionally take a few extra days to arrive by mail. Now let's talk about the number that is in the title of this video and on the minds of millions of retirees right now, $2,071 per month. Where does this number come from? Who receives it? And most importantly, how do you know if you're getting the right amount? The $2,071 figure is the official average monthly Social Security retirement benefit for 2026, as confirmed by the Social Security Administration. This number reflects the 2.8% cost of living adjustment, the COLA, that took effect in January 2026. Before the COLA, the average monthly check for a retired worker was approximately $2,013 in December 2025. The 2.8% increase added an average of $58 to that check, bringing the new baseline average to right around $2,071 per month. And here's what's important to understand about the word average. An average means that some people receive considerably less than $2,071, and some receive considerably more. The actual amount on your check is a personalized calculation based specifically on your own earnings history, the number of years you worked, and the age at which you chose to start collecting benefits. But let's talk about what $2,071 means in real practical terms. Over the course of a full year, $2,071 per month amounts to roughly $24,152 annually. For many retirees, that is the foundation of their entire financial life. The money that pays the rent or mortgage, buys the groceries, covers the utilities, and funds the basic necessities of daily living. And the fact that this number has climbed from $1,878 at the start of 2025 to $2,071 at the start of 2026 represents a meaningful improvement in the purchasing power of millions of retirees. Now, if you're a married couple where both spouses are receiving Social Security retirement benefits, your combined average monthly household income from Social Security in 2026 is approximately $3,208. That's up from $3,120 in 2025. Over a year, that's a combined $38,496, which for many couples forms the complete backbone of their retirement income. Are you currently receiving approximately $2,071 per month, or more or less than that? And do you actually know why your benefit is the amount it is? So many recipients just accept whatever amount shows up in their account without ever questioning whether it's correct. I'm going to show you later in this video exactly how to check whether your benefit amount is accurate, because mistakes do happen and they can cost you real money. Now let's talk about who qualifies for Social Security retirement benefits, because not everyone automatically receives them, and there are specific requirements that every American worker needs to understand, especially those who are approaching retirement age right now. The first and most fundamental requirement is work credits. To qualify for Social Security retirement benefits, you must have earned at least 40 work credits over your lifetime. In 2026, you earn 1 credit for every $1,890 in wages or self-employment income, up to a maximum of 4 credits per year. Since you can earn 4 credits per year, 40 credits means you generally need at least 10 years of covered employment, work where Social Security taxes were withheld from your paycheck. The key word there is covered employment. Most jobs in the United States are covered, meaning your employer withholds Social Security taxes, FICA, from every paycheck. But there are some categories of work, certain state and local government jobs, some railroad workers, and some employees of nonprofit organizations, where Social Security taxes were historically not withheld. If you spent your career in one of those roles without also having other covered employment, you may not have enough credits to qualify for retirement benefits. Now, here's something that confuses a lot of people. You might hear someone say they don't qualify for Social Security even though they worked for decades. That happens when all their work was in a non-covered job. But thanks to the Social Security Fairness Act, which was signed into law in January 2025, many public sector workers who were previously penalized by the windfall elimination provision and the government pension offset can now receive restored or increased benefits. That's a game changer for millions of retired teachers, police officers, firefighters, and other government workers. If you do have 40 or more credits, then you are eligible to begin receiving retirement benefits as early as age 62. However, and this is absolutely critical, claiming at 62 comes with a permanent and significant reduction in your monthly benefit. For people whose full retirement age is 67, claiming at 62 means a reduction of approximately 30% of your full benefit amount. That's not a temporary penalty. That reduction stays with you for the rest of your life. Here's the honest answer. To receive the absolute maximum Social Security benefit of $5,151 per month in 2026, 3 very specific conditions need to be met, and all 3 simultaneously. First, you need to have earned at or above the Social Security wage cap, which in 2026 is $184,500 for at least 35 years. Second, all 35 of those years need to be covered employment with Social Security taxes. And third, you need to have waited until age 70 before claiming your benefits, thereby accumulating the maximum possible delayed retirement credits. If you claimed benefits at your full retirement age of 67 instead of waiting until 70, the maximum benefit drops to $4,152 per month. Still an extraordinary amount by any measure, but noticeably less than the $5,251 maximum. Every year you delay beyond your FRA adds approximately 8% to your benefit, up until age 70. After 70, there are no additional increases for delaying. Now, realistically, most people are not going to reach the $5,251 maximum. Stringing together 35 or more years of 6-figure income and waiting until 70 to collect is an extraordinarily difficult standard to meet. But here's the practical takeaway. Even if you can't hit the maximum, every year you delay claiming between 62 and 70 permanently increases your monthly benefit. If your full benefit at 67 would be $2,071, waiting just 2 extra years to age 69 could push that to somewhere around $2,400 or more per month for life. Over a 20-year retirement, that difference compounds into a massive amount of additional income. So the question isn't just, do I qualify for benefits? The real question is, am I claiming at the right time to maximize what I receive for the rest of my life? Have you actually run the numbers on how much more you'd receive by waiting, even just 1 or 2 additional years? Here is something that absolutely no one talks about enough, and it could be costing some of you real money right now. Social Security benefit amounts are not infallible. Errors happen, and when they happen, it's almost always the beneficiary who suffers, not the SSA. One of the most common sources of errors in Social Security benefits is an inaccurate earnings record. Remember, the SSA calculates your benefit based on your 35 highest earning years. But what if some of your earnings weren't properly recorded? What if you worked for a company that went out of business, or you had income that wasn't properly credited to your Social Security record? In that scenario, the SSA's calculation of your benefit would be based on lower lifetime earnings than you actually had, and your monthly check would be permanently lower than it should be. The good news is that this is completely fixable, but only if you actually go in and check your earnings record, and here is exactly how you do it. Go to ssa.gov, My Account, and log into your personal My Social Security account. Once you're in, look for the section that shows your Social Security statement, specifically the year-by-year earnings record. Go through it carefully. Check that the earnings reported for each year of your working life match what you actually earned. If something doesn't look right, if a year shows 0 when you know you were working, or if a number looks significantly lower than what you remember, that is a discrepancy you need to report and get corrected. The SSA does have a process for correcting earnings records, but it requires documentation. If you still have old W-2 forms, tax returns, or pay stubs from past years, hold on to them. They could be the evidence you need to correct a mistake and potentially increase your benefit. Another area where errors commonly occur is when beneficiaries switch from one type of benefit to another, for example, from survivor benefits to retirement benefits, or from a spousal benefit to their own benefit. These transitions involve complex calculations, and sometimes the transition amount isn't correctly applied. If you've experienced any kind of change in your benefit type in the past few years, it's worth double-checking that the new amount makes sense. And here's a question worth sitting with. When was the last time you actually looked at your Social Security statement in detail, not just glanced at the dollar amount, but actually reviewed the earnings history, checked the estimated benefit at different claiming ages, and confirmed that your personal information is accurate? If the answer is never or a long time ago, this is something you need to do before the end of this month. Let's talk honestly about what the 2.8% COLA actually means for your take-home benefit in 2026, because the headline number and the real-world number are not the same thing. And if you're surprised in March when your check doesn't increase by as much as you expected, I want to make sure you understand exactly why. The 2.8% COLA adds an average of $56 to the monthly benefit of a retired worker. That brings the average from approximately $2,015 to $2,071. But there's a deduction that most people either forget about or don't fully understand, and it takes a significant bite out of that increase. For most Medicare recipients, the standard Part B premium is automatically deducted from your Social Security check every month. In 2026, the standard Medicare Part B premium increased from $185 per month to $202.90 per month. That's a jump of $1,790. So if the COLA is adding $56 to your check and Medicare is taking $17.90 back out of it, your actual real-world net increase is approximately $38.10 per month, not $56. Not $2,071 if you were at the 2025 average. Your real change in spendable income is much smaller than the headline suggests. This doesn't mean the COLA is worthless. $38 more per month is still $456 more per year, and over a multi-year retirement, that adds up to real money. But it does mean that seniors need to plan their finances with the net increase in mind, not just the gross COLA percentage, and it means that relying entirely on Social Security to keep up with rising costs, particularly healthcare costs, is a strategy that gets harder to sustain every year. Let's start with spousal benefits. If you are married and your own Social Security retirement benefit would be less than 50% of your spouse's benefit, you may be eligible for a spousal benefit equal to up to half of what your spouse receives at their full retirement age. In January 2026, the average monthly benefit for spouses of retired workers was approximately $984 per month. If you are receiving a spousal benefit, it is directly tied to your spouse's benefit amount, and it is subject to the same COLA increases, the same payment schedule, and the same Medicare premium deductions as any other Social Security payment. Now, what about survivor benefits? If your spouse has passed away, you may be entitled to receive their full Social Security retirement benefit as a survivor benefit, provided you are at least 60 years old and the marriage lasted at least 9 months. Survivor benefits are extraordinarily important for widows and widowers because in many cases the deceased spouse had a significantly higher benefit than the surviving spouse. Switching to a survivor benefit, if you haven't already, could substantially increase your monthly income. For Social Security disability insurance recipients, commonly called SSDI, the March payment schedule is the same as for retirement beneficiaries. Your payment date is determined by your birthday in the same way. The 2.8% COLA also applies to SSDI payments, and for SSDI recipients who are also enrolled in Medicare, the same Part B premium increase applies. One critical question for anyone receiving survivor or spousal benefits: are you receiving your own benefit or the benefit based on your spouse's record? In some cases, people don't realize they may have the option to switch, for example, claiming your own retirement benefit first and then switching to a survivor benefit at a later age, or vice versa. These strategies can meaningfully increase lifetime income, but they require understanding what options are available to you. When was the last time you spoke with someone at the SSA or a qualified financial planner about your specific benefit type and whether you might be eligible for a different or higher amount? As we get deeper into March and the payment dates roll through, I want to make sure you know what red flags to watch for and what to do if something goes wrong with your payment. The first thing to check right now, if you haven't already, is your direct deposit information. If you changed banks recently, if you opened or closed an account, or if your account number changed for any reason and your SSA records haven't been updated, your March payment could be sent to an account that no longer exists. This is a more common problem than most people realize. Money sent to a closed or incorrect account can take weeks to be redirected, and during that time, your bills don't stop. To update your direct deposit information, log into your My Social Security account at ssa.gov My Account. Under the My Profile section, you can update your payment information directly online. This is the fastest and most reliable method. If you're not able to do it online, you can call the SSA at their main number or visit a local Social Security office in person. But keep in mind that in-person verification is now required for many account changes due to the new identity verification rules that took effect in 2025. The second thing to watch for is scammers. This is an unfortunate reality, but every single time Social Security payments are in the news, and especially when specific dollar amounts are being publicized, fraudsters increase their activity. They call seniors pretending to be SSA employees, claim there's a problem with your account or payment, and ask for your Social Security number, banking information, or personal details to fix the issue. The SSA will never call you out of the blue to ask for your Social Security number. They will never demand payment in gift cards, wire transfers, or cryptocurrency, and they will never threaten you with arrest or legal action over the phone. If you receive a call like that, hang up immediately. We've covered a lot of ground in this video, and I want to make sure you walk away with clear, tangible actions. Not just information, but a real plan for what to do next. The very first thing you should do today is log into your My Social Security account at ssa.gov My Account. If you don't have one, create one right now. It takes about 10 minutes. From your account, you can see your estimated benefit at different claiming ages, check your earnings history for errors, update your direct deposit and address information, and view your COLA notices. This is your command center for everything Social Security, and not having an active account in 2026 is like navigating without a map. Second, look at your earnings history in detail. Go year by year and flag any year where the earnings shown look incorrect or lower than what you actually earned. If you find an error, contact the SSA with documentation to get it corrected. Every dollar of corrected earnings could translate into a higher monthly benefit, permanently. Third, if you haven't already made a decision about when to claim benefits, or if you claimed early and you're wondering whether there's any recourse, speak with a financial planner who specializes in Social Security. There are strategies like filing and suspending, switching benefit types, and optimizing spousal benefits that many people never hear about simply because no one told them to ask. Fourth, if you are a retired public sector worker, a teacher, police officer, firefighter, or other government employee, and you believe you may have been affected by WEP or GPO, visit ssa.gov Fairness Act to learn about your rights under the Social Security Fairness Act. Retroactive payments are being processed, and your restored benefits could represent thousands of dollars in back pay. We've covered the full March payment schedule, the $2,071 average benefit, who qualifies, how much the maximum can be, how the COLA really affects your net check, spousal and survivor benefits, and the concrete steps you can take today to make sure your benefits are accurate and protected. Social Security is not a gift. It is not charity. It is money that you and your employers paid into the system over your entire working life, in many cases for decades. You earned it, and that means you deserve to receive every single dollar of it, on the right date in the right amount, with nothing missing and nothing delayed. So here is my final question for you. Which part of today's video was most helpful for you? Was it the payment schedule, the explanation of average versus maximum benefits, the tips on checking your earnings record? Drop it in the comments below, because your answer tells me exactly what to cover in the next video. And if you have a question that we didn't answer today, post it in the comments too. I read every single one. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Like this video if it gave you value. It helps this channel reach more seniors who need this information. And share it with someone in your life who is counting on their Social Security check this March. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.